Hello, what's up guys, and welcome back to my channel again. And for today's video, on part of my intermediate achievement journey, we'll be going through the achievement or the Ruthless Green Plague, and objective is to win the one player randomly generated PvE scenario based RPVE of difficulty 9 by only playing nature cards. I'm not really an RPVE player, so this replay is the first time that I'm actually playing with a newly created deck, and there are quite a number of mistakes that you can observe from my replay, and I hope that we'll learn something together for this replay as well. And this is the deck that I'll be using, and without further ado, let's get on to this video, right? And for really those higher difficulty RPVE like 9 and above, 9 and 10, you want to build a really small army or defense at your base, because usually the enemy camps will spawn strong enemy units and they will attack your base, and also build a lot of units to capture your next monument. What you don't want to do is to be exposed to the next camp. As long as your units is inside of a building or any units of the next camp, the bandit tent or whichever spawning building will begin to spawn some of the enemy units and attack your monument. So you want to really take some of your time to generate some power at the beginning, if you're not doing some sort of speed run, so that you really make your make your RPV plays a lot easier. Yes, so I have my Wind Waivers and Wildebeest as my starting unit. Wildebeest very good because of its regenerative ability. Yeah, usually for RPV 9, the longer passageway leads you to the first monument area to get your tier 2. Yeah, so try to clear off this base, and the moment the camp is in range, you can see the 10 spawn a crossbowman and a bandit spearman. And also, because the camps are too near, you attract the next camp as well, which happened to me. I'm not a very good sight, and you probably get obliterated if you don't have a lot of units. And especially this Stone King Crystal Fin knocks back my small units, so it really gets a lot difficult to clear the bandit units, especially with the shaman healing off the bandit troops as well. So sometimes in this case you might want to aim the bandit shaman instead, but I'm a little bit lazy and didn't really micromanage a lot of my units for this game in general. And yes, of course, you have to build building or even summon some units to prevent your monuments or powers from getting destroyed. And of course, not really experienced in RPV, had quite a lot of difficulty with my first and second monument, which you will see later. I will just fast forward the game. Basically, I will just try to clear the camp, and my mistake was to take a lot of the power wells and the monument at the start later on, not factoring that I can lure the base at the top, which is the third monument area. So I just speed up this part where I take the monument, and once the new unit spawn, it attracts all the other units in the other base. But the smart thing that I did was to just summon a unit to destroy the spawning building. So the spawning building is always the bottom left of the entrance of the building, the entrance of the base, which can be shown by the towers in front. That is the only spawning building that will spawn units. The other one, which is the right side, would not spawn any units. Yeah, so that is a trick that every RPV player must know to make your life a lot easier. Right there, I will attempt to just take the monument because I don't want to risk losing more power. Any power well or monument loss, you basically lose that power that you have built. Yeah, and what I should have done earlier was to build more living towers so that you can get rid of the bandit units a lot easily. Right, my deep ones will just basically clear the next camp. Yeah, and not gonna repeat my mistake and build my living towers first. So for now, I'm just gaining some power to build my third orb, and followed by some breeding grounds and tier 3 units to clear the camp and get my tier 4. And there's really a lot of trouble for my tier 4 because it's really close to the next camp, which has this bandit construct or bandit walker. Deals a lot of damage, pretty insane. Very difficult for me to get the monument over there. Yeah. So I'm trying to get my decoy worms to clear off the base and get my 4th orb. But this took a while because my plan was to just have built the monument and just let it build while my decoy worm try to distract the units here. But because the bandit walker has really insane amount of damage, the moment I build up the monument, one attack from the bandit walker can destroy my monument. So I lost quite a bit of power here, and I tried to attempt to do it again, but I failed. Same reason again. So knowing that I need more firepower, I built decoy worm and the deep one. The deep one will really tank some damage and try to have more CC to disable the bandit walker. Yep, so of course with a lot of the deep ones, the attack was successful, and it bought me time for me to spawn my tier 4 units. And this is it, my tier 4 units. I have the Forest Elder and the Primeval Watcher. And the Forest Elder, the green affinity, is really insane because it really helps with the increasing your friendly units damage by 25%. And on top of that, there's this magic link, which is of course available for both Forest Elder affinity, that essentially is a walking breeding ground. And if you have breeding ground nearby, I'm not very sure, but when I summon some of my units, it seemed to have stacked the power reduction cost to summon the unit. Having this Forest Elder helps to both boost your army's damage output and also decrease the power needed for building your army as well. So it's really a very good unit, and I'm very impressed because I've not used Forest Elder ever since it got nerfed really well. Yeah, so I'm very impressed with this pure nature deck. Yeah, another Forest Elder, but essentially you can just have one Forest Elder. Yeah, giant whims are really good for damage. And yeah, it's really insane. And I also use the Forest Elder's ability to regenerate health. Basically, I think it's a 300 life points up to 3000. And yeah, as you can see, the heal is really good. As I played more and more of the pure nature, I'm very impressed, and also tried out the Sanctuary card, stopping the bandit walkers from firing any of this crazy orb looking attack. And of course, green piece, very useful to disable any units from attacking my army. Some of the very useful cards that I use. Yeah, so once you get tier 4 and have some form of like defense coming up, pretty much your future bases, enemy bases, will be cleared quite easily. The green piece again, and followed by Sanctuary, but the range didn't reach the bandit walker. This is how I did my achievement, and I hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to more of my intermediate achievement, and eventually I'll move on to some veteran achievements as well. So hope you look forward to that, and I'll see you guys really soon.